here on this earth? Did I take more than I gave? Did I look out for the people, or did I do it all for fame? Legend is Exodus, searching for euphoria, trudging through the mud to find the present, no ignoring us. Got 20,000 deep up in the street like we some warriors. My mama told me never bow your head.
I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again. I was born for this, born for this. It's who I am, not proof again. I made it through the darkest part of the night, and now I see the sunrise. Now I feel glorious, glorious. I feel glorious, glorious.
I'm feeling glorious. The crib looking victorious. You know that we've been going it since we hopped out that DeLorean.
Welcome in, everybody, to the In Off the Bench podcast. My name is Jim Cross. Back-to-back nights, champions. That video is only fitting. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Daniel Ball. Daniel, do you know that with Dalton coming on tonight, this will be our 85th national champion guest? That's a lot.
Man, that's what's up. When you got 506 guests, 85 of the 506 have won a championship. That's pretty good. Pretty good numbers.
We're in the right company, but before he comes on here, I'm going to vent something to you. We've talked about my little habit that I've gone. And these Tennessee Volunteers, Drew Beam, Billy Amick, Trey Lipscomb, Dylan Dreiling, Kavaris Tears, Jake Rucker, and that's only a third of them because half of them off getting graded. It is costly rooting for these cats, man.
I mean,
I have developed bad habits.
you're gonna have to pick up a side hustle to pay for this, or you get lucky and you pull a certain card, and it's like gambling when you win one. Like you just use it to fuel the other bets.
Well, the good news I told you, if Jackson ever gets in trouble down the road, he's got a lot of cards to flip for a lot of money. But hopefully tonight's guest might be the next one. With that being said, Dalton Bargo, how you doing tonight?
Good, guys. How are you?
Man, we're excellent. Like you said, college baseball season is almost here. Getting to talk to you guys. The official In Off the Bench effect count. Daniel, I got asked about it on Twitter earlier. It is now tied again. LSU at 12, Tennessee at 12, A&M at 5, trailing. So we'll see how it goes. But we never get tired of talking Tennessee. But I got to ask you, Dalton, it is cold as can be here on the west side of the state. How cold is it there?
It's pretty cold. I think it was like 32 today, like right at it. We were outside taking ground balls, like just the players, and there was snow coming down. So it was pretty crazy.
Is there going to possibly be another snow football game like I seen last season we asked Tony about it on here last year. He allowed it, which is what makes him an amazing coach, but it's also pretty scary because one of you dudes gets hurt and it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we get the opportunity to, we'll definitely try to get something going. But that's just kind of the group of guys we are. We're trying to compete in anything and everything. And that day was super fun. And I feel like I was kind of like showed what kind of group we were last year, just going out, having fun in the snow with our boys and just goofing off. That's the kind of team we were.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, and we'll get into your story. Who would you say would be, Drew Beam always took the QB1 title. He's not there anymore. If you are building together a team out there, y'all are going to play in the snow, who do you want for the quarterback?
Oh, I think that's a tough one. I feel like we're going to have to go with some sort of pitcher again just because the arm strength is always there.
That, or I feel like Hunter Ensley will give you a Lamar Jackson kind of thing. I think he'll run the rock and throw it if need be.
Yeah, no, he's definitely more of the playmaker type. We could definitely flirt with him running QB1 for a little while, but I know in high school I'm pretty sure he was a receiver, pretty good one. So I like him in the receiver spot. I think if we're gonna go, I think we gotta go with maybe Gavin Keelan, kind of that middle of the lineup kind of guy that just makes plays.
I like it. Or you put AJ Russell out there in a red jersey and say don't hit him because he's got enough injuries.
Yeah, that too. He's got the arm for it. I'll say that.
I feel like we're getting this hyped up, Daniel. Now I've not wanted this snow to come, but now I do. I need massive snowfall. I need video again. But like I said, all jokes aside, talking to Tony about it, So many coaches would not allow that to happen. That is why he's the ultimate players coach. Like, he's going to let you guys live your life and have fun. And I think there's something to be said about that.
Do you think after now winning one, is he tightened up a little bit?
No, he's a lot of the same guy. I mean, it's hard for him to change and be somebody who he's not, just because he's so different, so special, and that's why we love him.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, let's get into you, man. Obviously, we did some digging, we did some research, and we're big fans of the city of Omaha. Is that the hometown for you? Because that's what it's saying. That's the rumor.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. So I was originally actually born in Council Bluffs, Iowa, just right across the river. And then
Daniel actually knows where that is. That is where our hotel was.
Okay, yeah. And then lived there for a couple years, and then moved down to right outside Manhattan, Kansas, and then lived in Manhattan for a little bit for about three and a half years. And then that's when we moved up to Omaha when I was about 5.
What's it like being a baseball player and growing up in Omaha?
It's different for sure, just because I mean, obviously the weather year round can be unpredictable. It could be, especially in the winter, it could be snowing and 25 degrees out, and then the week later it's 50 and sunny. So I mean, it's just kind of different. But there's a good chunk of indoor facilities up there for us to get our work in, and lifting programs and all that stuff. And there's the travel organizations are starting to grow a little bit and try to expand, get more national. I know, like, I went down to Jupiter, got that experience, and those kind of bigger tournaments at Worldwood Bat in Atlanta. But I feel like it's definitely growing the older that I get, because it was very small, like when I first started playing ball up there, and over the years it's just getting bigger and bigger.
That's surprising to me, because given like the College World Series and its history in Omaha, you would think like baseball would be a hub for young organizations and travel baseball. Like, it would be a hot spot. But it seems like it's up and coming. But given the fact that the College World Series is in your hometown, did you attend?
Oh yeah, I went to games back when Rosenblatt was still the stadium, and still got pictures from that. And I think until I got to college, I went to probably at least 3 games a year, just with my family, with my friends. So it was kind of like a staple of our summer growing up, being a baseball family.
I mean, think about that, Daniel. Us growing up at the Pyramid watching the Memphis Tigers. Imagine watching that and then being on that floor playing for a championship. Like this.
I mean, as you're growing up and you're going to the College World Series, did you ever sit back and go, man, I wish that could be me. I hope that's going to be me, or that will be me out there?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, even since I think the first games I went to, I was 6 years old, and was at Rosenblatt. And my mom always jokes about it, especially since we went, that I was 6 years old, and I was saying that I was going to be sad because when I get to the CWS, I'm not going to be playing at Rosenblatt anymore when they were moving to TD Ameritrade. So it was kind of always on if it was a win for me.
Right. I mean, that's you got to manifest it. Jim was talking about that the other day, just saying things and speaking it into existence, because
I do hate that he did have the change of venue. We don't have that. We didn't go to Rosenblatt, Daniel, so we don't have that perspective. But going from one to the other, because typically more times than not, even when newer facilities are nicer, they don't just have that feel, right, of the aura, Daniel, like of the original. Like I was just talking about the Tigers, right? The FedEx Forum is great, but we grew up in the Tomb of Doom, man. It's just unrivaled.
I mean, it's just a landmark. Like, when you go, like, if you're an opposing team and you show up at the Pyramid to play the Tigers, you're like, oh man, this is real deal stuff. The one thing I think the biggest analogy that I can think of is, like, if you're a Cubs fan and the Cubs go and play the White Sox, it's not the same watching it at the White Sox home park than it is at Wrigley Field. It's just not. But yeah, man, that's an unbelievable, like, going full circle. If you guys can make it back to Omaha and you win a national championship in your hometown, and a place that you've been 100 times, watching people do the same thing. So I wish that for you, man. I think that's something that would be pretty awesome. When your story is all said and done, if you can close a chapter on that, milestone. That's a good one.
Being in Tennessee, man, there's always a chance to stack 2-3 rings for this guy.
I mean, when you talk about teams that have won back to back, Dalton, not many have done it.
Very few.
But when you think about your Tennessee squad, like that is one that comes to mind that I'm like, yeah, it would not surprise me if you guys ran it back and did it again.
For sure.
I mean, we were talking about the growing sport of college baseball. You can find a direct correlation with Tennessee baseball and the spike in college. I think, even going to that 2022 team, it was kind of reminding me of the Warriors when they peaked, 5-6 years ago, because you either loved them or you hated them. There was a lot of people who didn't like Tennessee, but they would watch to root against them. And then there was a ton of people who loved them because the antics that people didn't like, that me and Daniel love, the bat flips, the chirping, it made it intriguing. And I think there's a direct correlation. And then you just look at the talent that y'all are bringing in year and out. It's just hard to not gravitate towards Tennessee baseball.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like you guys are having more fun than anybody. And so, like, if you're a fan looking at that, you're like, I want to be a part of that. I mean, and even as someone who is watching you guys, like, who doesn't want to, stand up and clap, during walk-up songs and like do different things when we hit doubles or score runs and put on coats and hats in the dugout when you have home runs and stuff like that.
Talk about clapping. They got to retire Billy Emmons walk-up song. The Strokes got to, like, no one in college baseball better use it ever again.
They got to do something else. I think the fans are clamoring for a new one. And
for sure.
I had to guess, Tennessee social media and the fan base, they can figure out the next thing. And the players, you guys are all like pretty witty. Like, y'all come up with something.
But the thing was, his was the catchy one, but they all had songs and like it was crazy. Like using like a Cal Stark, for instance, like the Texas song. Cal doesn't fit that song at all, but it was fantastic. And when he came to play, you couldn't help but like get stoked. Like all the Tennessee guys, and I think it's funny because you could have country for one, and then you could have rap the next. You never know what you might get.
No, for sure. So Dalton, you mentioned mom being a big advocate of what you do. What about dad, brothers, sisters?
No, yeah. I mean, my dad and my mom, especially my dad, because he coached me up until I got to high school. But they've always been every tournament, going with me everywhere, supporting anything I wanted to do. And I mean, they've always been by my side, had my back, and that's the biggest thing. And my little sister, she's a junior in high school this year. She was 4 years old, 3 years old, traveling around to tournaments throughout the Midwest when I was younger, and still finds times to come to games when she can with her schedule. And I know my dad tries to make every weekend that he can. And I mean, it was honestly super special for me, like talking about going back to Omaha, where they've done so much traveling for me throughout my years that it was time for, like, it was like the thing that I wanted was to not have to let them travel to come watch me play. And getting back to Omaha was so special in that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is if you go to Omaha, like, and you stay for the duration, like that's a long time. That's a long commitment. If you can, do it in their backyard, it makes it a little bit easier. I'm sure they would appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
But if
you're to get pricey, Daniel, I need to move there.
I'm telling you. But what I will say is, I think they would figure it out. If you're playing for a national championship, wherever it's at, they're probably going to figure out how to make it. But you attended Westside High School. You hit 500, basically. You were ranked the number 1 catcher and the number 2 overall prospect in Nebraska's 2022 class by Perfect Game. You played travel ball for the Nebraska Prospects, which is a very fitting name when you hit 500 and you're the number 1 catcher and number 2 overall prospect.
I mean, you talked about our number of guests, Daniel. I mean, I can only think of 2 guys that, and I don't care where you played ball at, 500 is 500, right? Like, there's only probably 3 guys in total, Daniel, where they could say that stat on here.
I mean, even some, like, if we talked to Charlie Condon last year, I bet he probably ain't hitting 500 in his travel ball career. That's unbelievable. But like, I'm curious, like, if you're hitting 500, who were some of the harder pitchers that you faced? Because it seems like nobody was difficult for you because you're just hitting everybody around.
Yeah, no, in high school we had my class had some pretty good arms. We had a kid named Tatum Bell who went to Coastal, and then Jalen Worthley, who's at Nebraska now, was a pretty good lefty. And I mean, we just that year our pitching class was pretty loaded out of Nebraska, and it was funny because we all the best guys in the state just all played together that summer or playing in the summer, just growing up and throughout high school. And it was just like you put the best 20 guys together and you go ball out in the summer, and then you get to the spring, you all got to play against each other. And I mean, we're hitting off of our pitchers, which are just dudes, especially with Jalen and Tatum, and but it was definitely up class for that year.
What do you in your travel ball career? Do you know when you were hitting 500? Do you know how many times you struck out?
I have a feeling it wasn't very many.
That's what I was getting at, Jim. That is unbelievable because it's one thing to hit 500 and you have a lot of strikeouts, but it's another thing to have minimal strikeouts because that means you're just putting the ball like you're making
I would have
contact.
been surprised if he
all the
like
time.
threw the number at you because like those usually great hitters only remember the bad. They never remember the good.
Yeah, but and that is true. But he's probably like and correct me if I'm wrong. When you strike out, like if you're hitting 500, you're like, well, it's baseball. It's bound to happen at some point. So I'll just go back and
we're
get on
going
my
to get into it later, Daniel. But the first game I seen the kid play in person, he hit 2 bombs. That's facts.
Dang, let's go. All right, Dalton. So you end up at Missouri. Why Missouri?
In high school I was kind of like a late develop. Grew kind of late. I didn't really get any looks till that summer going into my senior year, that junior summer, and was kind of playing the long game. Had some mid majors, had a bunch of JUCO offers, and then towards the end of that summer, I got a call from Coach Beezer, who was the coach at the Missouri at the time, and took a visit. Loved the campus. Enjoyed the coaching staff. Like thanked them for having me, and it was awesome. And it was in the SEC, and I've always wanted to play in the SEC, so it was kind of a no brainer for me out of high school.
Yeah, and Missouri is a great program. Obviously, it's not Tennessee, but it's definitely, I mean, like you said, playing in the SEC alone, I think a lot of times they're probably overlooked. And me and Daniel are actually pretty high. They picked up, I don't know how much you pay attention now that you're at Tennessee, but they did really well this year in the portal, especially because us being guys from Memphis took a couple of their best players. So it's definitely a program on the rise. But while you were there, primarily where the DH started 43 games, batting .279. 6 doubles, 3 triples, 5 home runs, 23 RBI. So a lot of success as a freshman. What we take most is what you learn the most from freshman year. It seems like guys always have that 1 or 2 things that really they learn that helps them develop throughout their career. What was it for you?
The biggest thing was just kind of slowing the game down because especially moving from high school to college, a lot of the freshmen get really sped up and get going too fast just because it's a whole different game. And the biggest thing is learning how to just control your breathing, slow the game down, be in the moment, and take it pitch by pitch and at bat to at bat. And that's kind of what was the biggest thing that helped me kind of transition from high school to college that year.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously another transition, you obviously go from Missouri to Tennessee. Why would I know it's pretty easy when we talk about the coaching staff, but outside of that, what was it that made Tennessee the school for you?
I fell in love with the coaching staff. They're always going to shoot you straight, and they're always going to have your back no matter what. And talked with Coach Elander that summer, and really enjoyed the vibe with him, and we connected pretty quickly, and it was easy to have conversation with him. And then I was playing in Bristol, Tennessee that summer in the Appalachian League, and took a visit down to Knoxville, and Coach Elander showed me around, and I love the city. I love the facilities, and it felt like the spot for me, and went with it.
Let me ask you a question, because you're right there inside. I've never asked any of the Tennessee players this question, but I'm intrigued. What is it about that coaching staff that keeps them together, right? Because we know Elander and Anderson could go anywhere. They stay there. Tony V has the best coaching staff that you'll ever have. Is it as simple as that? They know they have the best thing together and they want to stick together. What is it that keeps those guys together?
I mean, yeah, they mesh really well, and you take the baseball IQ between Elander, Anderson, and Vitello, and it's unmatched, top notch. And another big thing I think, I mean, talking to Elander is they all love Knoxville so much that they don't want to go anywhere else. Just the city, the fans, the environment of the Friday night games, and it's just the best place to be right now in college sports.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because, that's why I think Tony V would never leave there. There's all the people who like to say when Dave Van Horn leaves Arkansas, he'll want to go back to Arkansas. And if there's anything Tony said both episodes on here, or you just see from watching social media, he's at all the sporting events. And I want to ask you about that. Coming from Missouri to Tennessee, no knock on Missouri, but Tennessee is one of the few schools that I would call an everything school, good at everything. Like, what's it like being on that campus? And man, it's a constant vibe when it comes to sports.
Yeah, no, the campus is it's all about winning. And you can tell just from watching the other teams on the field or court. And I mean, we go to the football games, we go to basketball games as a team, and all like Vitello, Heupel, and the basketball coach, they all have a really good connection. And it's just everybody just wants to win there. And it's just a great vibe. The fans are showing out for everything, and no matter what the sport is. And it's a good place to go win right now in Knoxville.
How excited do you think the people in Tennessee are in Knoxville for when Florida comes there? Because that's the thing, right? Everybody can get punched in the mouth. And I think probably Tennessee basketball needed that just because when you're unbeaten, you need to be humbled. It always makes you better. And one of the things I read today is everybody in the country was talking smack was, remember, Florida's got to come back to Knoxville in basketball. Like, I mean, how crazy is that environment going to be?
Oh no, it's going to be unreal. It's going to be loud. That place is going to be rocking. And I mean, that's just kind of the energy. Like if you watch any other sport, I mean, baseball, football, any other sport, and we don't lose at home very often for any sport. And I mean, that kind of punch in the mouth, kind of for any team, it's going to be a little bit of a wake up call. But it's going to be, we're going to come out firing, and the place is going to be loud, and it's going to be a really good game.
Daniel, this was never planned, but I'm going to give you your moment. What team broke their 30-game home winning streak a couple of years ago?
The Memphis Tigers.
Got to give my guys a moment, man. We needed that on the west side of the state. It can be tough, really, really tough compared to what y'all got going on over there.
I mean, it's because we don't play. If we would just play, then it would just be easier to hate each other up, to each other's faces. But like, you guys got beat by 30 points last night to a really good Florida team. It's Florida, but like, I'm not gonna say anything because I've seen my team get beat by 30 by a really good Auburn team.
And you don't like Florida, so
right. So it's like,
that would have been that's actually the last team I would have picked for them to lose to because I don't like Florida. I wish it would have been somebody else.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm gonna cut right to it as far as this season, man. We could go through the season, but I gotta go to the postseason because I was in Knoxville. I went to the last weekend series against South Carolina. Turned around and came to regionals, came to super regionals, and man, that game to punch your ticket to Omaha, you don't hit one but two solo bombs. Like, dude, what'd you eat for breakfast that day?
I think it was the same. I think it was 4 eggs and some toast.
There he goes, man. I mean, I'm telling you, like, what is it like? I mean, we're sitting there talking about going to Omaha and what that means to you. But to play such a pivotal role in, beating Evansville and advancing, what was that day like for you, man?
It was just super special for me. I'll get the call, and I just wanted to do anything I could that day to help us win and punch that ticket, and kind of just let myself play and have fun, enjoy the environment because that place was loud that night. And I mean, I just wanted to have fun, and enjoy the moment, and that's what we did. And as a team, it was awesome to watch.
Daniel, that's what we were talking about last night with Mick Paul because LSU and Tennessee have the same thing. A lot of depth, a lot of guys trying to play for spots. And we said it's all about when your number is called, you make the most of your moment. And this is what he did. And, for this team, man, so much depth, so hard to get on the field in such a big game. And Evansville, man, I mean, obviously, it's like, I mean, they didn't make nothing easy for you guys, but y'all obviously punch your ticket. You get to Omaha. How much validation was there? Like I said, nothing against Missouri, but you transferred to Tennessee for this reason. Like, did it make you feel good that, you made this choice and you ended up there following, your decision?
No, yeah, kind of just hit me our first practice out at TD or Charles Schwab, and just kind of took a moment out there before we started things, and just kind of took it in, and just saying to myself, "Wow, like we're here, we made it. Like this was our goal, and we're here now." And it was just super cool just to take it all in, and I mean, even the guys on the team were excited for me being back home, and I was kind of like the running joke was get Bargo back home, but no, we made it, and it was just super awesome to experience that.
Absolutely. So, like I said, me and Daniel were there. Daniel got to experience the comeback against Florida State. He actually predicted it in real time. We got to talk about it with Nate Snead. When y'all went to Snead down 3 runs, he goes, "This game's over. Tennessee's got it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "If you go to the closer like that right now," he said, "you feel confident that you're going to get these runs back." And sure enough, they happened. And obviously, y'all go on to win the whole thing. Um, you know, Obviously you got to now focus to this year, right? Like you're not satisfied with one championship, and obviously you're trying to earn your way into that starting position on this team. So, coming into this fall, talk about that opportunity and, the ability to, as great as that was, put it behind you and focus on this season.
No, yeah, the biggest thing is of the fall was just not being complacent, especially for the returners and the older guys, because we got a good group of guys that between like say like me and Reese and Peebles that weren't an everyday guy last year, and now this is our year. We're the leaders this year. This is our team, and we got a lot of new pieces, and it was just kind of getting the new guys to kind of understand like what the vibe is and how we work here, and but not being complacent and going to get ours this year and moving on and leaving last year in last year.
Yeah, we had Billy Amick on here. It was our one of our first guests in the fall, and he's talked about the chemistry and just how good the team looked in the fall. Does this team have a similar vibe? Did y'all have a lot of good chemistry? Did you felt like after fall ball, this is definitely a team that can make a run at it again?
Oh yeah, I'd say it took us a little bit longer this fall than last year to kind of gel together with all the new guys and new pieces that we put in. But uh, towards about like the 3/4 away through the fall, we could kind of we started to figure it out, and everybody started to gel really nicely and figuring out pieces. And talent wise, we're going to be stacked again, and I mean year in and year out, especially with this coaching staff. But we're meshing really well right now, and everybody's getting back right now, and happy to see each other and get the ball going.
Yeah, I mean, talent wise, I know you guys got it. That's why I just love this coaching staff. And then, like you're talking about the leaders on this team, there's no reason for you to not believe this team can go back and do it again, just on all these different things, because there's a lot of teams that have a lot of talent, but they just don't have the culture that Tennessee does. Last question I got for you is, y'all's schedule is exciting, and I'm looking at, 3 of the series that I'm going to be at and wondering, do y'all – or not even y'all, is there any series that you're looking forward to more, like whether it's A&M or at home or, playing at Alex Box or playing at Baum Walker, or is it all the same for you? It's just business.
I mean, if you really look at a big picture, I mean, we got to go to some really cool stadiums this year, but if you shrink it down, it's just baseball. Every game's its own game, and we're playing a children's game, and at the collegiate level, the top Division I level, and I mean, we got to treat every game like it's its own, and it's just a baseball game no matter where we're at. But yeah, it'll be pretty cool to get to go to Alex Box and experience that environment. Go to
You won't
Swayze.
like Baum Walker. They hate y'all, man. And now that y'all won the championship, oh, Daniel, them people are going to be nasty. It's all the more reason why Tennessee needs to go in there and sweep.
Yeah, I mean,
telling you.
looking for that series just because I've heard about the environment. And now it's time for me to
I'll be honest with
experience
you,
it
Dalton.
like
Them people, I
firsthand.
was there last year wearing my LSU gear. They clean swept us, and they were still mad. I don't know what's going on there.
No, yeah, those fan bases are really fun to play in front of, and you just kind of you take it all in and take everything they say with a grain of salt, and we just play our game and play
Well,
baseball.
I look forward to the A&M series because and this speaks to the culture again. all the parents from the players who left were all getting together for that series. It's going to be like no one even left, man. All the families, and it's going to be cool. Reliving that matchup for the championship last year and having people. I'm hoping, obviously a lot of the guys may be too busy, but hopefully they'll make it back around. That man, especially in the new LNS, renovations. I mean, it's going to be crazy that weekend.
No, that weekend's going to be real loud. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be the best environment in college
Can I get
baseball.
2 solo bombs? But you know what? Let's not go solo. Let's get some guys
Let's get some extra runs in there. Yeah. 2-run, 3-run shots.
Yeah, it's going to be popping. You know what else is going to be popping, Dalton? This game we're about to play. You ready to play a game?
I'm ready.
Let's go, man. Before you pop out of here, man, we'll play this game. It's called This or That. It's very simple, man. I'm going to give you 2 options. You choose one option or the other. Can't say both. Can't say neither. Got to be decisive. Got to go with your head, go with your heart, go with your gut. Just pick one. Very simple.
Let's do it.
All right. Jim, this or that. Who's it brought to you by?
I'll tell you, Daniel, whether we're talking about the west side of the state or the east side of the state, when it comes to Tennessee, there's only one kind of Tennessee whiskey or bourbon you want to get, and that's Old Dominic. Watch this. Daniel, whiskey to vodka, bourbon to gin, they get it all. The best in the country, but you can find it in the distillery in the heart of Memphis, downtown. Go to Front Street, get you a bottle today.
That's right. Or 2. Or maybe 3. It's cold outside. Y'all need to stock up. The snow's coming. Y'all going to need a plethora of adult
out of
beverages.
Here, man. I'm going to Oklahoma where it's supposed to normally be colder, but won't be.
Hey, get on up out of there, but just be careful. But Dalton, let's get into this game, man. First question out the gate. Coffee or energy drink? What you going with?
Let's go energy drink.
You like to ride the bull? You're a Monster guy? A Celsius?
Rain Razzleberry. The blue rain.
Something about, Knoxville. Those dudes are about that rain.
Daniel, I don't think, you always lead off with Red Bull. I don't think the young folks drink Red Bull, man.
I don't know. I just feel like
we haven't had that for an answer to date.
No, because they trying to do too much with them disgusting flavors. Just need to stick to what they came in the game with. The original. All right. Breakfast time. What you going with? Bacon, sausage?
Ooh, I'm gonna go bacon.
Yeah, nothing better than some nice popping bacon in the kitchen, man.
It sounds like the eggs were the key to the home runs, though.
Oh yeah,
maybe
for sure.
Maybe. All right, if you're going with sunflower seeds, are you a Biggs guy or a Chinook guy?
Chinook jalapeno ranch.
Let's go. See,
them boys in LSU are struggling now with that.
And then to talk about, adding Skittles to your sunflower seeds, that tells me out the gate that your sunflower seeds suck if you got to add Skittles to it. Give me a break.
Well, let me play this video. Our boys were at the ABCA plugging the seeds from the East Coast to the West Coast. So check this out. Yeah, and if you haven't tried it yet, Dalton, Daniel came up with the creation. Obviously, anybody can mix these together, but he gave it the name Smoke and Toast, Cinnamon Toast, Smokehouse Barbecue. Give it a shot.
Oh, it's fire. And, I would suggest on a nice cold, afternoon on the diamond, go ahead and mix you a handful of that.
Daniel, have you tried mixing Cinnamon Toast and coffee yet, like I told you to?
No, not yet.
You're a coffee guy and you haven't done it yet, dude. Come on.
Because I like my coffee, and if I mess up my coffee,
seeds in there, man.
I mean, it ain't the same. It's like you really need to brew the coffee over the seeds.
Well, do whatever you need to do. I was told that it would. Notice I said I told you because I don't drink coffee, but you need to do it.
I got an idea. Let me get in the lab and mess with some stuff.
There you go.
I'll get back to you.
Tell you what, I'll get you some Old Dominic once you try this.
Shoot, I ain't afraid to throw a little old Dominic in my coffee. I know what's up there. All right. If you had to choose lake or the beach,
Ooh. Let's go lake. I'm a big fishing guy.
I mean, if you got a boat, lake's where it's at. I
Yeah.
mean,
Here's the
it's
question. He
hard
said
to beat.
fishing. I saw this in his profile. Golfing or fishing?
Ooh. Recently, it's been a lot more golf.
That's what champions do, Daniel.
A couple of years ago, I was more into fishing, but I've gotten big into golf recently.
What's your thought on the TGL?
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool environment.
You think it's gonna last?
I hope so.
I mean, they got some big backers. They got some big
Yeah.
pockets. That's for sure.
sure.
I do like the concept. It's, one, it's something different, and it's
Mhm.
something that, you feel like, you're not going to get bored with it because it's not the same course. It's different holes on different courses, and it's all varied. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. I like it. All right. Uniforms, smoky grays or dark mode.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to go dark mode. Smoky grays are good, but dark mode's unbeatable.
Truly, like when they wear them, they're unbeatable.
Let's go. All right. Who hits better bombs? Blake Burke
Ooh.
or Billy Barrels?
I'm gonna have to go. Burke's homers are pretty majestic. I'm gonna have to say that, and that pretty left-handed swing. I see Simo on the end of that. Simo hit some of the more impressive
that
homers.
was going to be because Simo's always answered, so it's going to be Burke against Simo.
Yeah. But that homer that Simo hit against at Vandy, I think it was on Saturday, where he hit it pretty much out of the catcher's glove, hit it backside.
My favorite was in Hoover over the batter's eye.
Yeah, against Vandy again. Yeah, that was nuts.
I mean, I thought the one for the cycle was pretty good.
Yeah,
a
that
line
was
missile to dead center.
Yeah,
Daniel was sitting here like, look, man. First of all, he saw 3 walk-offs, and then the one that wasn't a walk-off was a game-robbing home run. But it saw the Tennessee comeback. He saw a cycle. He had a no-hitter through. Which game was? I don't even remember which one was the no-hitter through 16. Daniel was like, everything that you could want in baseball has happened this opening weekend.
Yeah,
it was legit. It was a good week of baseball, that's for sure. Movies, rom-com or scary movie? What would you?
Not a big scary movie guy. I'm gonna have to go rom-com.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm not really like.
Yeah,
I get messed up with the people that come up with the concepts for scary. There's people out there that come up with the concept for some of these.
there's some good ones, but not my go-tos. I'll say that.
No, that's for sure. All right, football. Got a big game tomorrow night. Penn State, Notre Dame. Who you got?
I'm gonna have to go with the Irish. My grandpa is from right outside South Bend. Always been a Notre Dame fan. I'm gonna have to go with the Irish.
All right. Hopefully Notre Dame doesn't Notre Dame or Penn State doesn't Penn State. Either way, it's going to be an interesting game. All right, who you got? Texas, Ohio State.
I'm gonna have to go with Texas. I'm gonna have to go with Texas.
All right, big question: Texas or Notre Dame? You still rolling with the Irish?
I gotta go with the Irish. Gotta go with the Irish.
That's ballsy. That's ballsy. I mean,
I agree with him.
I think it's a close game, but I gotta take the Irish.
I've got, as much as I hate to say it, Daniel, I've got the Irish winning all too, man. I know we always talk about Notre Dame doesn't get it done in the end, but I just like that defense, man.
Yeah.
You might be right, but I think Ohio State's going to run roughshod over Texas, and I think they're going to beat Penn State or Notre Dame.
Daniel, I
just as much, if not more.
Daniel, I had a text come through. You know, I told you I had you a surprise tonight. I'm surprised you didn't say nothing about. There was no surprise. Randy was supposed to join us tonight. I'm just not getting a text. Dalton, that's our host from the first few seasons, who's a diehard Tennessee fan. I was going to surprise Daniel, have him on the Tennessee show, but work caught him up. But Daniel, that was what the surprise was going to be.
Dang, he couldn't even pop on for a second, man. And the crazy thing is
too much orange up in here, man.
Is Dalton went to school at a place called West Side High School, and guess where me and Randy know each other from?
West Side.
Go ahead
and shout her out,
bro. Miss Knight. All right, last question, and we'll let you bounce, Dalton. Would you rather spend 5 years in jail or 10 years in a coma?
Ooh.
You could go the short, tough route with the 5 years, or you could go the long, easy route with the 10 years. What are you
I
going with there?
mean, if you spend the 5 years in jail, you at least have time to like better yourself, as a person. Think about your decision. I mean,
Or worsen yourself
that,
as a
that is
person.
true.
When you start shanking folks for survival.
Yeah,
You ever seen the movie Shot Collar?
I haven't.
Right. So I'm gonna spoil it. So dude is just a normal financial businessman. He went out for drinks with his wife and his friend that he works with and her wife. Anyway, he drinks and drives. They end up getting killed in the backseat. And so he ends up going to jail for it. Well, when he gets in there, he quickly is told that he's got to do stuff or he's done. And so anyway, next thing you know, he's doing anything and everything. And he ends up being basically at the top and doing life. And so that was when, like, every time Daniel said there's no way he would go to jail, I realized that even if you go in there with the right mindset, you have no control.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Maybe it's 10 years in coma.
What is the mindset to go in with? That's the thing.
What he
It's
said,
like,
you can learn things. What if you're not a big book reader, but you go in there and you get educated, man?
I mean, that's gonna be the toughest.
He's going to the penitentiary where they got a baseball team. He knows what he's doing.
For sure.
The longest.
No,
Yard.
remember Life with Eddie Murphy? Was it? Yeah, I'm not that baby's daddy. That guy. Because he got the warden's daughter knocked up. That one. Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, Dalton, man. Anything you want to plug or promote before you bounce up out of here?
I do not.
Nothing. Not even like opening day. Like what you guys got?
I know the Vol fans are gonna show out this year. Love your guys' support and keep bringing it on.
For sure. Dalton, we appreciate you, man.
I went to his social. Can they still get the national championship baseball signed hat and baseball?
They might be able to. I'm not sure. I'll have to check in on that.
Yeah, well, y'all check in on that because y'all should get an autograph hat and baseball from the man himself.
From the man himself. All right, Dalton, man. We appreciate your time. We wish you the best season ever. Hard to beat last season, but hey, we hope you have another one. Hope you stay injury-free, successful, fun, all those good things. And if there's anything we can do for you along the way, man, reach out.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. That's Dalton Bargo, everybody. If you like hearing Dalton's story or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook. Retweet us on X. Listen and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. Go on over to YouTube, click like, click subscribe, click notifications. That way, when this thing is uploaded, you'll be one of the first to know. And then you can go check out that and the full library of content that's uploaded now. With that, go to Memphis City Design. I say it every week, but the cold snap is here. It's going to be snowing in Memphis. Like, y'all need some hoodies, not just any hoodie. You need 50% polyester, 50% cotton. You need that pillowy,
you need
nice
Tennessee. Man, I don't know why I want that Memphis.
Look at that. You just need to feel like when you look at this, you just feel warmth and comfort. So can you imagine what it's like when you got it on? Go get one today. I'm not even I'm going to make you just go get it or else. Jim, a great week, man. Good lineup of guests next week. Another good lineup. We'll start with Ken Camarella from Clemson. We'll talk about, the Clemson Tigers, what they got going on. We got them ranked fairly high in our top 25. Probably some big things to look out in the ACC with those guys. We're going to talk about the greatest catch of all time in some people's eyes. But with that, man.
Dude, you're on a Tennessee episode talking about greatest catch we can. Bro, there's 3 catches in Tennessee alone last season or better. What are you doing here?
I mean,
way to try to make that episode, but I ain't gonna let you do it.
I'm saying what others have said, and that is fact. As a matter of fact, it's so much fact that it was rated higher than any of those catches.
I'm gonna bring Dalton back in, dude. Was Cam's catch better than Kavaris or Hunter Ensley's catch?
I think Cam's catch was pretty sweet, but with Hunter and KT's catches being in Omaha, I mean, especially hunters, leaving eye black on the wall.
Yeah. See, Daniel, you
Man,
should have
y'all
just
stop
shut this show
playing.
down. You should have just shut this show down, but you had to talk too much.
Y'all know Hunter went wipe eye black on the wall in
Oh,
between the
stop.
innings.
Hey, I'm glad he came back on here because Daniel, I'm not gonna let you close this episode. I got one more thing for Dawn. I seen as I was going through your Instagram, I saw the wiffle ball home run derby, and I got to bring this up because we used to play wiffle ball in Daniel's backyard. How hard, like, was you hit 13? You know, how hard was it playing in a home run derby for wiffle ball? You know, now like I feel like it's different when you're a little kid, but now, man, it's like I don't know, it's a little bit harder, a little bit more pressure.
It's a little bit more difficult for sure. But I mean, it was pretty fun just being a kid again. Like it was like I was back in the backyard when I was a little kid, and it was really fun to do. And we had a good turnout for that. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit harder now that I'm a little
Who
bit
won?
older and bigger.
Who won?
What's that? What's
Who
up?
won it all?
Oh, I think it was Hunter.
Man, I put my money on Fisher. I lost.
Yeah, fan favorite Hunter Ensley.
With Hunter Ensley with the best catch ever.
Oh, and let me do a Chinook plug for him. I should have done it when I did that. Go get your Chinook seeds and use code Inslee9 and support our boy. All right, now you can put a bow on this thing.
Let's go.
Really?
Let's get out of here. This is Enough Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp mind, grit and grind all the time. We're out.